Hello everyone, and welcome back to Unicorn Overlord. In the last episode, we kicked things off. We learned that Valmore potentially killed Alan's mother, our main protagonist, and basically conquered the world. He succeeded. Which is surprising, because most time bad guys don't do that. They don't succeed. Anyway. Now, after 10 years since the event of, since the start of the game, we're about to reclaim what is rightfully ours. Or at least we're going to try to. We're going to start things off by fighting Hodrick, who seems to have turned traitor. Or did he? Was it of his own volition? Defeat conditions. The time limit expires. Yes, you do have a time limit. If I remember right, it's usually about an hour. The victory condition is to defeat Hodrick. Move the cursor while holding X to select multiple units and give them all the same order at once. After selecting the desired units, release X and choose a destination to order all selected units to move toward that location. Ordering a unit to move or pressing X during a battle stage will automatically pause the game. The move and item commands can be used even while the game is paused. You can press circle or whatever button it is you're using, depending on the platform, to resume the game and basically do everything. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Alan and Lex charge into the enemy there. Now I'm going to have Joseph go to Hodrick himself. Here's what I'm gonna do. Since Joseph doesn't need any experience, I'm just going to continuously use Alan or Lex to do battle with the fodder. They need it a lot more than Joseph does. Nice. Noble Guard, quick heal, and Holy Light. That should mean, yep, 9 damage, and a Parting Blow. Still a win. Now, notice the enemy is taking 18 damage while Alan's unit is gaining 8. This means that the battle is automatically a win because we're going to have more HP. Now, spear units are capable of going past a single unit and hitting another in some way, shape, or form. We still win because we have more HP. Yeah, okay. And he's gonna die. Wow. And they've almost leveled up. Joseph is going to be on his own. He's only going to take 2 damage, but that's also because he's like level 20. And despite being level 2, Hodrick is going to have high defense. And that would be why. Now, technically Joseph won. However, oh, also we can fast forward the game. It's actually really nice. Sting and Holy Barrier. And Slice. Ooh, nice crit. Now, we're gonna finish this guy off. Ooh. There we go. That should mean that, yep, Alan and Scarlet are now level 2. Now, when it comes to level ups, what you see on the right side of that menu is the rate in which certain stats are likely to improve. We lucked out a little bit because Alan should have gotten a higher guard rate improvement, but he got HP, physical attack and defense, and magic attack, as well as accuracy. We kind of lucked out on that. Now, Scarlet, on the other hand, did not luck out, as she only got accuracy and HP. Now, if she had gotten magic defense and magic attack, that would have been nice. Even evasion would have been nice, but sadly, she didn't. Cancel the movement, and I'm actually going to wait until Lex beats this guy. I kind of figured. And Chloe finished him off while doing first aid. And wow, Chloe got more experience than Lex and automatically leveled up. I forgot about that. Chloe's level up, it could be better. I was kind of hoping for like a physical attack boost outside of accuracy, but whatever. Okay, now I am going to have Alan and Scarlet attack Hodrick because, like Scarlet said, magic is where Hodrick is going to go down. I'm also going to have Lex go as well, because you notice that gauge. More than likely what's going to happen is if I didn't send Alan and he didn't get to them first, that gauge would have increased more and Hodrick would have had an HP recovery. And that would have gone with its entire unit.
邪魔をするなら容赦はせんぞ。
The lean edge and holy light. 17 points of damage because the magic defense stat is utter garbage. And they got 70 experience to boot because he was the leader. And there's the end. Stage clear. Now here's the stage results, and this is why you want to do the liberation bonus and the combat bonuses. See down at the bottom where it says renown rank? The higher your renown, the higher the percentage, meaning you're going to get a multiplier on your score. And that score translates into your war funds, your honor, and your renown. So it's always a good idea to get as high a score as you possibly can. This also means trying to basically get a low time, and by low I mean low enough to keep your score high and not timing out. But we'll deal with what happens when you time out when it becomes pertinent. Foolishness, huh? It was foolish of you to join the enemy.
貴様らのようなコルニアの残党に膝をつくことになるとは。ホドリック、女王陛下と七に赴いたお前がかように落ちてしまうとは。せめてかつての師である私が引導を渡してくれよう。
待ってくれ。
殿下。
ホドリック、幼い頃遊んでもらったことを思い出したよ。中心とまで言われたあなたがなぜガレリウスの配下に。何もわからないままかつての仲間を切りたくはない。せめて理由を聞かせてくれないか。
あれい。
Oh?
これは。
Now do you see why the ring is so important? The ring has the ability to purify. And by purify, I mean get rid of whatever darkness possesses people if they are possessed. This is not always going to be the case, however. A spell to shackle the hearts of men. It is the only way I can think to describe it, my prince. All the lords closest to your mother turned upon her without so much as a moment's notice. Unfortunately, my memories end there as well. It's not that they turned traitor by will, or at least not all of them. Also, yes, they're using magic with a CK. It's not the first time in any sort of JRPG that it's occurred. So I'm going to assume that is one of the two ways that you can actually spell it, with or without the K. Power of cleansing. My question is, why does Cornea have this kind of treasure and not all nations? Okay, I can kind of see that. Unicorns are often portrayed as holy creatures and are usually only approached by pure maidens. Notice I said maidens. Iron Wall of Zenoira.
そこに大義はあるのか悩んでいた。
Justice or paltry vendetta?
だが今分かった。託されたものの大きさと母上。行こう。戦い抜く覚悟ができた。ガレリウスを討ち王家の責任を果たす。
Yes. Our end goal is to slay Galerius. Or at least, I believe it would be. Something tells me there's a bit more to it than that.
ホドリックの様子はどうだ。
ようやく立ち直り戦いへの覚悟ができたようです。ところで殿下、港に到着した後の予定ですが、以前より準備していた解放軍にクライブという若い騎士がいます。
A young yet skilled knight by the name of Clive.
上陸後は私が早馬を務め彼に取り次ぎましょう。
分かった。よろ。
あれいい。ちょっといい？
どうしたんだ。
あのね。やっぱり何でもない。
Mm?
なんだ。気になるな。
ごめんね。大した話じゃないの。いろいろと突然のことだったからまだ実感が湧かなくて。
ああ、確かにそうだな。だがこの日が来ることは分かっていた。この10年ジョセフに師事して鍛錬を重ねてきたのはこのためだ。母上も自ら剣を取り道を示す指導者だった。俺もコルニアの王位継承者として
毎日のようにレックスとも浜辺で訓練していたものね。
見ていたのか。ホドリックがそうだったようにゼノイラ軍に組みした将が操られているのだとしたら勝算はある。とはいえ今の解放軍の基盤はあまりにも脆弱だ。
Yeah, very fragile.
だから君にも助けてもらいたい。
あれいい。そうね。パレビア正教の司祭として力になれるよう頑張るわ。
俺も助けになるぜ。
レックス。
Ah, I
放
love
置
this.
すみません。立場もわきまえず。
No, but doesn't matter.
幼い頃から一緒に過ごしてきたんだ。かしこまる必要はないさ。
私たちは王子に仕える従者。そうは参りません。
If Alan says it's okay, Chloe.
ですが、私もレックスと気持ちは同じです。
Wow. Are you saying that Lex is an idiot?
王子のお役に立てるよう尽力いたします。
みんなありがとう。心強いよ。
Yes, I'm going to save my progress. Now, let's see. There's the auto. There's the... Okay. This is my private play file. You can see I'm in Albion, and it's actually been a fair bit. It's been almost a full year. I'm going to use file 1 as the LP file. Now, this is where we get into our difficulty. I'm going to keep it as normal. I could do tactical, or even expert, but that's a little much for me right now. I'll probably do it after I've memorized the game a little bit. Yep. Ooh.
くそ、なんだお前ら。
いや離してスカーレット。
ルノやはり貴様も。
スカーレットをどうする気だ。
手荒な歓迎ですまないが、私も少々この娘に用があってね。
Now, why do they need Scarlet?
彼女を離せ。
この娘はガレリウス様が必要とされているのだ。どう扱うのかは私の知るところではないがね。悪いが娘はいただいていくぞ。
スカーレット。
Oof. Well, we now do not have a healer. Straight into the hornet's nest, huh? Yeah, we gotta do something, Lex. And we are. However, ever notice how we never saw Joseph in that cutscene until now? Yeah. He did mention that he was going to get someone. And he did. This is Clive, our other cavalry unit. Unfortunately, we had to abandon the
皆様を
port.
お迎えする前にこのような事態になるとは。
殿下、彼が宣告紹介していた解放軍組織の一員クライブです。
あ
しかしガレリウスの狙いが花からスカーレットであったとは。
あ、連れ去っていったあの騎士は。
彼
Renault.
はルノー、イレニア様に仕える高潔な騎士でした。あの様子から察するに、おそらく彼も支配の術で操られているのでしょう。
そうだとしても、なぜスカーレットを。
確か彼女は正教の司祭でしたね。
Role as a priestess.
近頃ゼノエラ軍がパレビア正教に関与しているとよく見、教会の司祭である彼女とも何か関係しているのかもしれません。
いずれにしてもガレリウスにスカーレットを渡すわけにはいかない。彼女の身が心配だ。すぐにでも出発しよう。
まあ待て待て。
Ooh.
行き先も分からずにどうするんだ。
So in this particular battle, we're actually going to be getting 2 new characters, well, technically 3, if you count Hodrick. This is Travis,
君は。
彼はトラビス。共
a
に活動している
collaborator
仲間
named
です
by the name of Travis. Yep.
いわゆる密偵
Fancy way to refer to a spy. You need intel, dirt, or just the latest weather? I'm your man. He says he's a spy, but essentially he's a thief class.
それで
ああ、東の方角へと一目散だ。
Can only assume he's going for the city. But the real problem is his army of mercenaries. We want after Renault. We've got to go through them.
殿下、
Your Highness.
まずは眼前の敵を
We all share your sense of urgency, but we've no hope of aiding Scarlet without first routing the enemy before us.
分かった。準備ができ次第出撃する。
Alright. So that fortress over there serves as the enemy command post. Yes, and that is the boss we need to beat. Now you've noticed there's a couple of different places we need to capture as well. One of them is on a bridge. You're gonna see a lot of flags on bridges very often, and they kind of serve as a bit of a checkpoint. Now, axe users are known as house carls. They are excellent attackers who can lower enemy defenses to deal heavy damage. Which means they're a bit of a menace to highly defensive units like Hodrick, but not as much as magic users. And the fortress that we're at, our base, is the first and last defense. You'll also notice there's a bit of a corner where light and darkness is. That indicates the border in which our battlefield takes place on. If the enemy overruns it, we'll have nowhere left to run. Then we defend it at any cost and proceed forth with extreme caution. You don't necessarily need to do this, but it's recommended. Now, I'm going to pause the battle real quick. Notice there's multiple areas with flags. We've got the harbor, we've got these ruins, and we've got 2 bridges. And we've got a bunch of units that need to be taken care of. So, how do we do this? Well, we can adjust our formation. You can add, swap, or remove members of a given unit. Now, you noticed when we were doing the prologue, we had 5 units with Elenia, which includes Elenia. However, right now, we can only do 2. Each character has a set class that determines their combat affinities, as well as what weapons and skills they're able to use. I'm going to listen to the tutorial because I need to help. I'm probably going to need a little bit of help explaining things, especially when it comes to recommended formations. As you wish, my prince. To begin with, cavalry classes such as mine are quite effective when facing enemy infantry. As such, you may always call upon me to dispatch infantry in your path. Knights are highly effective against infantry-based units and can traverse stages swiftly due to their high mobility. Remember, your highness, that danger lies around every turn upon the field of battle. Yet the shield I bear is more than capable of defending our allies from harm. Hodrick is a hoplite. They use great shields, armor, and high physical defense, and excel at protecting allies. So if you have someone that is not exactly very tanky, you want someone to, like a hoplite, to be able to take the brunt of the damage. Travis, as he's talking about, is a thief. They have high evasion, allowing them to swiftly dodge enemy attacks in the front row. Generally speaking, you'll find it best to place your sturdiest fighters on the front row while reserving the back row for frailer combatants. The following formations as examples of how you may wish to deploy them. A lord and a knight. Alan is the lord unit. He is sturdier than knights are. You can also do lord and hoplite, which means both enemy units are going to be very tanky, and Alan can heal himself with the lean edge technique that he has. Or conversely, you can do lord and thief. Travis, as a evasive unit, can dodge a lot of moves, a lot of attacks, which means no damage. Now, how I'm going to go about it is I'm going to put Hodrick with Joseph. I am going to, let's see, I need to reposition him. Have Travis here. Unfortunately, I can't unlock a new unit type, so Clive is going to have to just bear with it. But I'm going to start things off with Lex. And Alan. And the reason I'm doing this is because, one, I only start off with 2 Valor points, but I can make up for it later. Not bad. Yep. Alright. I'm gonna have Lex do this. And... yeah. This is still gonna be a victory. Ooh. Long thrust. Yep. Warding slash. That means, yep, parting blow. But first aid brings us up by 7 points. We still win it. I'm gonna have Lex continue that battle, but I'm going to bring Alan and Travis to the harbor. Because if I don't do that, most likely what's going to happen is I'm probably going to start seeing enemy units spawn from there, because that can happen. Nice. Oh, that's so bad. That is so bad. Also, guard rate as an S rank for a fighter is actually, I'm pretty sure, standard. It would have been nice to have something a bit more offensive in nature for Lex, but it is what it is. Engaging in battle consumes 1 stamina, which is the 6 that goes, which is that number in the corner that goes down. If you drop to 0, you will not be able to move, and units' starting stamina is determined by the leader. And if you rest, you're going to be exposed. Not only that, you won't be able to use your active or passive skills. That's what it was. That made this so bad. So I'm going to have Lex down here. And I'm going to finally bring out Joseph. I'm going to have him at the command post for a little bit. Because while Hodrick is on the field and he could stand to level up, Joseph cannot. Hauling all over the harbor, and judging by appearances, I suspect they have more units ready to join the battle at any moment. Facilities controlled by the enemy army will occasionally call reinforcements to the battle. Try attacking the enemy controlling the facility if you wish to stem the tide. This will force them to heal, stopping them from summoning reinforcements. Conversely, if your units are strong enough, they will just outright kill the occupying unit, and you can go in for the capture. Now, in the starting bit, it's going to take a little bit for that pawn timer to go up to get another reinforcement for them. But later on, that gauge will slowly get faster, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I kind of figured. And there's the miss. With a parting blow. Again, a miss. It's always nice to have a thief class if you care for them. I never cared for Travis all that much, so I didn't use him for very long. Alright. I think I've given it long enough for Joseph, so I'm going to move him. I'm not going to need to worry about enemy units. Nice crit. And there we go. And Alan is now level 3.
と強くならねば
That's... I'm sorry, that's a bad level up. It's nice to have more magic defense and a little bit more HP, but I was kind of hoping for something like offensive in nature, or even like a higher crit rate or guard rate.
よし考えるんだ
Alright. Now, instead of capturing immediately,
なんなり
since I'm going to leave that to
かしこまりました。
Joseph, I'm going to have Alan move to the bridge. The bridge there appears to be held by enemy spirit bearers. Not only are they capable of delivering piercing attacks on an entire column, but they deal heavy damage to cavalry units. Like a lot of other tactical tactical games, certain units will take more damage from other unit types. In the case of cavalry units, if there's a spearman on the field, don't put them against them. I don't care if Joseph is your strongest party member. He won't take all that much damage. It is still a bad idea. It's also another reason why I'm having Alan go up against the spear user, because while Alan may still take damage, there's also the high evasion that Travis has. Some skills like the soldier's long thrust can pierce an enemy unit, damaging enemies in the front and back rows. Combatants arranged in a column are susceptible to piercing attacks. As such, you should try to stagger them instead. Alright. Now, I'm going to reposition Alan, because like they said, in an entire column. This counts right here as a column, because I'm pressing up and down on my D-pad. If I press left and right, that is a row.
どう出るべきか行くぞさあ来い
And there we go. That's one down. And because of the long thrust only being column-based, only one unit was targeted. You won't be able to do this for very long, because eventually someone is going to end up getting hit because of how many units you're going to have in a single squad.
こいつは任せろ
Yeah, this is practically a guaranteed win. Kind of figured. Again, I kind of figured. Long thrust. Nice. And boarding slash. Physical defense up. Parting blow. That's a crit. And then we have first aid. Since it's a win. Alright. Now, this is a death. Or rather, this is a kill. Passive steal and lean edge. There we go.
このまま行こうやったぞ
Now, however, we get enemy reinforcements from the base itself. Now, facilities such as towns and bridges have a variety of garrison effects, which are bestowed upon the unit garrisoned within. These effects can prove quite powerful, so try to garrison units in facilities whenever enemies approach. If you wish to review a facility's garrison effects, simply move the cursor over the facility. You can now skip battles by pressing the pause button. It's often better to watch battles play out, as skipping them prevents you from learning why a unit won or lost.
どう出るべきか向かおう
So,
旗を掲げましょうぞ。
we now have the harbor. And because we saved the harbor in this battle, we get a revival orb, which is very useful, especially later on. Now, however, I kind of figured. Yeah, again, I kind of figured. Long thrust. I kind of wish that was at least one of those was a crit. But you see what happened there? Now I'm going to show you how to use the Revival Orb. So, much like using any other item, you go into the item menu, you select the Revival Orb, and you press on the character that needs it. In this case, Lex needed it, and I'm also going to heal him up back to full health. And then we're going to move on from there. When it comes to Joseph, I am actually going to have him go all the way down here. I'm going to have him skip the ruins here. And you'll understand why in a little bit. And there we go. The bridge has been garrisoned. First strike, the long thrust. Thank you, Chloe. Notice how in certain battles you get a little less experience, but when you defeat an enemy outright, you get a bunch of experience. This is the difference between just winning a single battle leaving an entire enemy unit standing, and flat out destroying that entire unit. Now, I'm gonna... these units may hold something of use. You can find items by garrisoning in ruins. And essentially, yes, that is the case. However, I'm gonna have Lex and Chloe do that after they recover their stamina. There we go. There's some physical attack and evasion. So, now I've got a rest to restore stamina. This is basically how it goes. Because otherwise, Lex was not going to be able to move. There we go. And then we get the long thrust and evasion. Notice how when you're on the defensive at a bridge or any sort of garrison, you don't take away stamina. I didn't want to do that. Well, I suppose it can't be helped. The Holy Barrier. There we go. And then Sting. And then Pursuit, which was one of the passives of Joseph. Which is what essentially allows Joseph to beat a lot of enemies in like 2 or higher squads, is that Pursuit passive. Meaning he can technically, right now, attack 3 times. Or more. There you go. Alright, I'm just gonna let things play out. If you hold a specific button, you can actually speed up the battle. And I kind of wanted to do that because I wanted to just get the battle at the first bridge with Alan out of the way. And even the second, because you know it's going to happen. Alright, Travis leveled up. Okay. 2 of his A's and 1 of his S's. His initiative went up, his critical rate went up, and his accuracy went up. His physical attack didn't, but it was very likely that that was going to happen anyway. Now, some of you are probably wondering, why is the Valor going up? And you're not, and I'm not doing anything about it. One, I kind of can't, and two, they haven't taught you how to do something that requires another thing that requires valor. There we go. Holy barrier. Yep. Holy guard and the sting, and the pursuit passive. There we go. Now. There we go. Okay, not bad. And there's the finisher. Alright. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have Alan rest here, since he's at a garrison, and it's going to take a little bit for that timer to go up. I can afford to. And the same is going to be said for Joseph, but I'm just going to have him rest for the sake of it. Lex is almost done. There we go. And we're going to have him garrison the ruins. And we get a Dew of Strength. That is a unique item. Let's see if I remember right. Yep. And you can use it brings up the target's physical attack stat by 1 point at a maximum of 5 times. You can only use one of these 5 times for a single unit. I am going to wait on that. And I am going to have Lex go to this garrison, because I'm going to have Alan go and take on the boss. That there is Aubin, leader of the mercenaries. Don't let your guard down for even a second. The stars displayed beneath an enemy's stamina represent the relative strength of their unit. An enemy unit can have 1 to 3 stars depending on their strength. The enemy with a 3-star rating is the commander for a given battle stage. You can open the stage menu where you can review unit formation, save your progress, and more. Consider saving before critical moments, such as engaging enemy commanders in battle. How much longer do I have? Okay, yeah, I've had that long. I should be able to do this. Yeah, this'll work. Passive steel. Okay. Crush. Haha. Ooh. First aid. Yep. There we go. That is a win. We did not take any damage. And that means that they now can't, well, call reinforcements. You can now use Valor skills during a battle stage. Use them by selecting the Valor skills option from a unit's action menu. Different classes have access to different Valor skills, each of which consume Valor points when used. For example, Alan's Valorous Order skill grants first strike to allied units in range, which will prove useful when fighting enemy commanders. It doesn't just do that, though. So, we're going to do the Valor skill. We're going to do, actually... yeah. It increases the damage dealt, reduces the damage taken, and grants first strike. But I'm also going to do I'm going to start with Royal Order, which is going to increase the amount of experience earned, which means it's doubled. Then I'm going to do Valorous Order. I had more than plenty, so I'm going to go into this battle hitting hard. Or about as hard as I can. We do have First Strike. There we go. Lean Edge. There you go. Nicey. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to use Royal Order. And now, I could do Plunder, which is to steal gold from the enemy unit, but it's not necessary. I would rather just have the increase and increased damage and decreased damage taken, as well as the increased experience, because that means that that my characters are going to level up faster. I shouldn't be under that effect anymore. And I don't have any more Valor, but it's not going to matter anyway because this guy is just... He's going to lose a lot of HP that he's not going to be able to recover. Nice crit. And we've almost got a level up for Alan. Alright, and he's on his last HP. And here we go. Killing blow. 12 damage. And they both get a level up. 266. Imagine what I would have done if I had used Royal Order on this last fight. That would have been at least 2 level ups. That's not a great level up, but at least it's on evasion and a little bit of HP. That is a fantastic level up. That is fantastic. Initiative, guard rate, evasion, magic attack, physical attack, HP. It's fantastic. And we get the Vitality Talisman, which increases HP by max HP by 10 points. And because we beat the boss, we automatically get the command post. Our time limit was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And we beat it in 1 minute and 3 seconds. And the only reason it took longer than it did is because we had to deal with tutorials and I had to explain some things. But there's our honor, there's our war funds, and there's our renown. Yes, he is alone.
お前らが全員でのこのこ俺を追ってくれたおかげだな。野郎どもはうまく逃げられただろうよ。
他に敵はいません。
釣られちまったな。
大将自らおとりになったのか。
おいおい、そんなんじゃねえよ。お前らをまくのは簡単だ。足さえやられてなきゃな。
Really? You're gonna play him a leg injury?
まあ、これも貧乏くじさ。雇われだから覚悟はできてる。
そういうことなら。
待ってくれ。彼に聞き。ガレリウスはなぜ スカーレットを狙ったんだ。少しでも情報が欲しい。何か知っていたら教えてくれ。
俺たちはしがない傭兵だぜ。気前のいい前金で仕事をしたってだけだ。興味があるのは金だけで、何がどうとか知る気もねえさ。
こいつど
もし、
Well
俺が雇うと。
そりゃ
Yeah.
商談ってことならいくらでも話を聞くぜ。
He's a mercenary. All you have to do is line his pockets with gold.
本気かよ。今の今まで命のやり取りしてたやつだぜ。
Granted, in throughout video game history, not all mercenaries are like this. If you know, you know.
仲間のために犠牲になれるやつはそうそういない。俺たちはゼノイラが支配するこの地を解放したいんだ。手を貸してほしい。
お前らは反抗勢力の残党だと聞いてたんだが、こんな大事やらかそうって危ない奴らだったとはな。
I mean, we're not lunatics, but we are reckless.
この方はコルニアの王位継承者アレイン王子。これは正当な戦いよ。
滅んだ国の王子様を担いで国をひっくり返そうってのか。だがゼノイラ相手じゃやっぱり分が悪いな。
雇われる気はなさそうだぞ。
高くつくぜ。
それは
新しい王様になるんだろう。なら報奨は望みのまま。
No, no, it's not an everyday job for mercenaries. For Fire Emblem, we already had a mercenary that was much in the same way, just with a different mindset. And he was very fucking powerful. OP, one would say.
さっきの戦いで分かってると思うが、俺は結構いい働きをするんだ。雇ってくれるんだろう。手つけは負けとくぜ。
A little discount my ass.
すぐにでもスカーレットを助けに行かなければ。
That's here.
彼女をさらったのはガレリウスに何か企みがあってのこと。スカーレットの救出が奴の目的を砕くことにつながるやもしれません。
ですが、想定よりも決起が早まり、同志が各地に散ったままです。現在の戦力ではルノーと戦うのは難しいと思われます。
ガレリウスの支持者には望んで王家と敵対する者もいました。彼らとの戦いはおそらく避けられない。
Yeah, some of them went willingly, others did not.
戦力の増強が必要か。
パレビア島に天下を逃がしてから解放軍の基盤を作ってまいりました。圧政を強いられている領主の中には不満を持つ者もいます。彼らを取り込むことは可能かもしれません。アレイン殿下、解放軍の旗に紋章を掲げるのです。殿下が解放軍を率いれば同志とも合流できるでしょう。
わかった。皆の力を貸してくれ。
Well, yeah, of course. He's been loyal to your family for a while. Now we have to choose the heraldic achievement to represent Alan, meaning our banner. We do have some presets. Now, I could go Cornea, or I could go the Liberation Army, or we can actually make our own. But I'm going to save that for later. Next time on Unicorn Overlord, we're going to make our banner, and we're going to do a little bit of exploration around the map and find our next battles. Until then, this is Shadow Zotai signing off, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.